I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you're thinking forward progress. Come on.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abeticola on 312 Sports.
Let's talk a little football here on Forward Progress. We talk Bears, we talk NFL, and when you texted me, Maddie, yesterday about the newest Chicago Bear,
yay!
You said yay, and I replied yay with a period. I just said yay, and that is noting the return of Jack Sanborn, our favorite special teams linebacker.
Yep, Lake Zurich's own.
Okay.
Jack Sanborn.
I don't get it. He does not fit a Dennis Allen defense. If he fits a Richard Hightower special teams, that might be a little different, and he can just tell Dennis Allen, look, I know you don't really want to ever use a strong side linebacker, and Jack Sanborn is just an old-fashioned, run-down. When I say run down, I don't mean he's run down. I mean he plays on run downs, not on passing downs. Because
is he fast?
No.
Okay, well then that's an issue.
I mean he's quick.
Okay.
And he's okay in short areas, and he's okay coming downhill, getting upfield, just getting in filling, in fitting against the run. But if you're asking him on a wheel route to turn his hips and give chase, no thank you.
Well, it sounds like very specialized usage then. Special teams, of course. And then on defense, I mean, can he line him up and go run after the running back with the football, go chase the quarterback?
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
yeah, okay. Well,
go forward, fill a gap.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine.
Straight.
That's fine.
Just keep aim and fire, but anything that's going to ask him to do work in space is not going to go well.
Yeah, as long as he aims and fires and doesn't fire then aim.
Right, exactly. Then he'd have it in the wrong orders.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going fast.
Everybody loves Jack Sanborn.
Yeah, they do.
And he's had multiple nicknames. He's been the Sandman. They call him the Neck, right? Because he has these crazy, he's got like a long overdeveloped neck with those giant, which ones are those? The sternocleidomastoid muscles. Those are the ones that come in at the angles from the outside.
Okay.
You got the big trapezius like this, and then he's got those giant sternocleidomastoids. So
sounds like a dinosaur.
No, you know the muscles I'm talking about. The one where you turn.
I didn't say I didn't. I just said it sounds like a dinosaur. Yeah.
Yeah. The sternocleidomastoid, it sounds like a dinosaur. It would end up being like a leaf eater or something that is its job is to exist and be eaten by the cool dinosaurs. It's one of the dork dinosaurs. Like, what was that? The Diplodocus? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
All those like vegetarian loser dinosaurs who you would always see an Allosaurus or a Gorgosaurus or a Gigantosaur or a Tyrannosaur eating it.
Yeah, that sucks to be them.
Yeah, that's why they existed. Well, it was a peaceful dinosaur, but the giant ones that you couldn't eat, like the Apatosaurus that they used to call a Brontosaurus, that you couldn't eat, are too big.
Well, no, that's what Fred Flintstone would eat, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, well, he would, but
yeah, they'd put the slab of ribs on his car and it would tip over.
But he kept ordering them.
That's too big.
He kept ordering them, even though he
had to go out
knew
and get a new car.
That was the Mike North question to Pat Riley. Remember, that's when that was one of the questions he was going to ask Pat Riley.
What was it? I don't remember.
Why does Fred Flintstone keep ordering the Brontosaurus ribs every time they flip his car over?
Hey, so yesterday I said that I'm pretty sure, I'm very confident that the Bears' first pick, whether it's 25 or they go up or go down, will be defensive edge rusher.
Yes,
edge rusher. Yeah, I was looking at their roster on our lads with their recent acquisitions. So
do you agree with me that that's the best depth chart? By the way,
it is, except they don't have Jack Sanborn on here though.
They're late.
They are late, but no, I think it is the best one. That's what I've been going to when I look now when I go to the depth chart. So at their tackle positions, you have Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Neville Gallimore, Kentavious Street, James Lynch, Shamar Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still drafting a tackle somewhere?
I don't think there's anybody on here that should prevent them if they want one from drafting one. I'm not saying to reach for one, but there is not a name on this roster that should preclude a tackle being drafted.
I don't disagree with you in that statement, but that's 6 guys there at defensive tackle right now. And 3 of those guys you went out and you just got. Grady Jarrett, you paid money to. Dexter is in his walk year. And then Turner is your second round pick from 2 years ago.
That's the one. Turner is the one.
I don't know if they'll draft a tackle.
Come on,
I'm not saying that it's right or I agree with it. I'm just like, I'm looking at this roster. I mean, there's only so many spots you can have bodies, unless something else moves around.
There's still
like half of these guys they just went out and got. And I mean, you could talk about, and Shamar Turner is a pick that didn't play last year. So that's 4 of the 6. Grady Jarrett, you paid money to.
You paid money to him, but he might not be any good.
He might not be any good.
Javon Dexter has had plenty of time to take that next step, and he hasn't done it yet.
I agree with that also.
I think Javon Dexter's okay, but for where he was drafted, he should be better. We should hear his name more. He should be more of a difference maker. He should have lower pad level. He should certainly be better at picking up fumbles.
And they just signed their 2 starting safeties. You're not signing those guys and drafting someone that's going to start day one. So you can certainly draft a safety, which I believe they will, but he won't be a starter till next year at the earliest. And you're not picking 3 edge rushers.
Nope. But these are just names to me.
They are just names to you, but I'm just trying to, and I'm just trying to figure out where the process might be going. What are they adding on offense then?
Oh, on offense?
Yeah, I mean, because Dan, like I just said, I don't think they're drafting a tackle. And you just got your 2 starting safeties. You're not using your first or second pick on a safety.
I think they will draft at the minimum, at least one offensive lineman who they believe can be used multiply.
Okay.
We had mentioned they need a 3rd tight end, and that might be somebody inexpensive who you could get on day 3.
A wide receiver?
Absolutely a wide receiver.
So at least half of this draft will be offense.
Well, they have how many picks total? I mean,
don't they have 6?
Yeah. Well, let's see how the board falls.
Yeah.
But definitely, they may add picks too. And I would have
that's
no
why,
problem
that's why I
with
said I don't believe they're picking at 57 and 60 if I have those numbers right. One of those 2 picks will move somewhere.
Or you pick more, or you move 25,
or you could do both
down,
too. I've said that too.
Down.
You move down from 25 to get in the upper part of the second round.
I have no problem with that if they want to, because that you have less.
And
of
then
a commitment.
I could see that 60 drop down to add more picks as well too.
I wouldn't mind if they looked at that pocket, if they looked at that sweet spot, the Daniel Jeremiah 45 to 70, is that what it was?
Yeah,
40
something like
75,
that. 40 to 70, 45 to 75.
Yep. And just said if they could add 2 more in there, you might be talking. If that's where the bubble is in this draft, and you want to just sit in there and know that you're in pretty good shape, and you've talked to your scouts, you're starting to get a sense of probably your cross-checking, right? I don't know exactly how every front office paces things, but the one way to do it is you get the initial reports. Like here are all your scouts in the field. Hey, I love this guy, I love that guy. Say, all right, narrow it down. When we all convene, you can argue, pick your best 5 or pick your best 10. That's when you can also, and everybody does this differently, but you want other sets of eyes.
Yeah,
say, all right. Steve likes this guy. Larry likes these guys. Now, guys, trade names and now go look at grade your peers' work here.
Yeah.
Pass all these around, cross-check these, and then we're going to meet again.
Yeah, and I hope Steve and Larry are not in the room again. I don't like either Steve or Larry. I don't. I really, really don't.
Scouts.
And I want to make it very clear too. I'm not advocating for the Bears to not draft a tackle. I'm not saying that. I'm just looking at the roster, trying to understand that I think there's other moves have to be made if they're going to draft tackles. And again, you just signed 3 of these 6 guys. You deliberately went out and signed 3 of these 6 guys for depth. Another guy is a guy you gave a lot of money to last year. Javon Dexter is a body, as you said, has plenty of chances, and this is a walk year for him. And then Shamar Turner, what can he do?
And it is very possible too, as we look at all the possibilities here. They said, no, we're not going to draft a defensive tackle. I don't care where the board falls. We would rather staff this position this year with veteran bodies. And Dennis Allen has said, I'm good.
And see what Shamar Turner does.
Yep.
Hopefully he stays healthy and can be a player that you want.
That's a possibility.
And Grady Jarrett, as you know, I know you didn't agree as much as me, but he improved through the year as he got healthy. Hopefully he's 100% healthy as best as he can be at his age to have an impact on the season from the start.
And we're 100% sure they're not taking a quarterback.
Well, right. unless they do make that trade with Cade Williams and they move him out, like we've talked about. Like we've been advocating for that for years now.
Right, because you know I've been stumping for that. But they have their backup under contract.
It was the Iceman thing that put you over the edge.
Damn it, it's enough
I'm
already.
done with this bastard.
they have their backup under contract. Their lucrative backup. Maybe he isn't anymore. And
I mean, he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the league.
I guess.
And that's
in Case
That's
Keenum,
Ben Johnson, man.
He'll be sticking around.
Case Keenum's here.
Yep.
So yeah, at least half of this draft will be offense, and I'm really excited to see what Ben Johnson is looking at, what they've targeted.
Your wild card though is if one of these running backs is there, and then you're kind of thinking, I think it's unlikely, but.
When you say one of these running backs, who do you?
I don't know.
Some of the guys we've mentioned over the last few weeks.
Yeah, whoever might fit in that in that group. You can find running backs anywhere.
Yeah, Mel Kiper's got the Titans taking Jeremiah Love now at 4.
Yeah, I'm not saying Jeremiah Love. I'm just saying.
I know you're not. I know you're not. No, I know you're not.
A usual serviceable right out of the draft. Plenty of tread on the tires. Put him out there, and if he's better than Roschon Johnson, we can finally figure out why the Roschon Johnson thing has lasted as long as it has.
Yeah.
Because I have yet to see him really do anything.
And then opportunities he thought he would be successful in, he didn't get the chance to carry the ball.
Right. They tried to envision him as like a short yardage banger, but that doesn't really fit what he does.
Right.
And Kyle Monungai's kind of, grabbed all those opportunities as a 7th round pick behind DeAndre Swift right now.
Yeah, and if you saw, there's a couple of quarterbacks in the NFL that are on the move. Carson Wentz back to the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
So now they have Wentz, your guy Brosmer, McCarthy, and Kyler Murray in their quarterback room currently.
Not bad.
Not bad. Sure. They can all sit behind Kyler Murray.
Yeah, they have to at least figure out when they're going to tell people that Kyler Murray is the starter.
Right. Because that's why he's there. And then Andy Dalton is going to the Eagles, being traded from the Panthers to the Eagles.
Andy.
So he'll back up Jalen Hurts.
Andy.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy loves talking about his guy, Andy. He was going to save everything, remember?
I like Andy Dalton. He was a nice guy. We met him up here in Vernon Hills once, took photos with the boys. Couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, really? Everybody loves Andy Dalton. And remember the year that he beat, I forgot which team, and then the Buffalo Bills were sending his charity all this money as a thank you because he got them in the playoffs. But I always love doing this for guys like, he's like kind of like the new Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe. One of these guys that just kind of sticks around for a while and ends up compiling ridiculous career numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear the most statistically similar players to Andy Dalton?
I do.
Derek Carr, Jay Cutler, Phil Simms, Jim Hart, Roman Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Ryan Tannehill, Jim Plunkett, Ron Jaworski, and Jim Everett.
It's not a terrible room to be in.
Not at all. It's just right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's when you say like you're talking about the people that I know or feel that I kind of grok their whole career arc.
Yeah.
When he's in there with Jim Hart and Ron Jaworski, you're like, yeah, that's a guy who's just there every year. Every year the season starts and there he is.
When did Ron Jaworski stop playing? What was his last year?
Late 80s? Let me look it up. It was 89.
89 was his last
year. He was 38 years old, and he was with the Kansas City Chiefs for his last year in 1989. He was 38.
Okay. I started watching football like 83. So got some years of Ron Jaworski because to me, he's the edge NFL matchup guy.
No, to me, he is the prey to the Mike Hartenstein predator. And I will always remember him being murdered on the field by Mike Hartenstein. Murdered. Oh my God, you're not allowed to do that to another human being. He's never going to be able to think straight again. And I don't know that he ever has, but it was ugly.
And on today's episode of Dan Bernstein Unfiltered, DBU, our other daily podcast here on 312 Sports, we did lead off and talk about Caleb Williams. If you want to hear that story, and he's working to trademark Iceman, you can go to DBU today on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcast or the 312 Sports app and listen to us talk about Caleb Williams trying to ruin Top Gun forever.
No, and there needs to be some cross-sport diplomacy that is enacted here because of his desire, not just the name Iceman, but also his logo that he wanted, the silhouette of that play. There's a lot going on here. I've got strong feelings about it. So in between games today, if you're taking the day off because you're, sick. and you want to watch, because there's those periods in between the rounds of games where you're like, now what do? I don't want to talk to my family. I don't want to do any work around the house. I don't want to fold my laundry. I don't want to do dishes. I don't want to put on clean underpants. Then just, pop your earbuds in and go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube and check it out.
Yeah, maybe you're sitting around waiting for Saturday's game when you get to see Miami of Ohio take on West Virginia. You got some time. Maybe that's the game you're targeting to watch because you just can't wait. Yeah. So just, you've got some time to listen to DBU. And OWC just came out yesterday. There's a new From the 50 on Monday. So lots of stuff here at 312 Sports for you to catch up on.
All kinds of stuff. Now there's other things happening in the NFL as well. You know that Troy Aikman has decided that because he can and because the NFL didn't really continue their prevention of Tom Brady having multiple roles, or they kept relaxing the rules. So Aikman looked around and he got a lay of the land and he said, well, I guess I'm going to be a consultant for the Miami Dolphins. So questions are being asked now.
As they should be, man. As we talked about this a couple times during the football season, I didn't like the way this process was going down.
I don't
and
either.
We played audio of that Monday night game where he shit all over Miami and their coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. And now you're finding out, he works for them?
Yeah.
Or this is going to be an indication. And perhaps the moves that they did make had something to do with his opinion? And you're thinking, well, this is really uncomfortable and awkward and inappropriate. So according to an email sent to PFT, the league has said the NFL, quote, would address this at the appropriate time. I don't know when the appropriate time is, because if Tom Brady still can't go to practices and he can't enter any of the team facilities of anybody outside the Raiders that he owns, there must be some kind of reasonable restriction on Troy Aikman's access and or his broadcasting. It isn't just a question for the NFL, it's a question for ESPN, but now they're kind of one and the same.
Correct.
So you would go to it. I don't know who the ultimate is. It ultimately the head of ESPN or ultimately Roger Goodell who is going to answer this stuff, but I hope people care enough to want to know. I really do. I hope people
I really
care.
do. And there's something reasonable has to happen. I mean, this is the guy that will be calling your next Super Bowl. And he works for the Miami Dolphins. And we don't know what kind of influence he had on the decisions that were made, but clearly made his opinions known during that broadcast.
Yes. And you don't want this. You don't want to think that every comment is now something we have to parse for deeper meaning in the business that he's doing for an actual NFL team.
Correct.
And that's just from our end. From the actual end, it's he's crossing boundaries that he shouldn't. And we'll find out how the NFL feels. I hope that there's some intelligence here about how that's all handled.
Well, we'll see. I mean, has anything happened with the owner of the Giants yet or no?
Apparently Steve Tisch is in the process of transferring his ownership stake in the Giants to
Stick and Brick,
to a trust. No, those are Woody Johnson's kids. That's the Jets. Those are
grandkids, right? He's not transferring it over to Stick and Brick.
That's the Jets owner's grandkids.
Okay.
Who are running the Jets, as we know.
All right. I thought maybe he would transfer it over to Stick and Brick. They're doing a crack up, the bang up job there.
They're outstanding work, both Brick and Stick. Yes, but the Giants they're trying to solve this by getting out ahead of it and saying that he's going to transfer his stake.
Right, but they still haven't done anything though.
It also. Right. And it also doesn't change his influence.
Right. So my point being bringing that up is when they say they'll address it at the appropriate time, that just means it's going to get just sent down. They're going to kick it down the street, and they're going to
hope everybody forgets and doesn't worry about it, and then it doesn't make anybody nervous with difficult questions. If now increasingly they can control the questions that they're asked, they figure it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter because this guy is an owner of a team, and this guy's just a consultant. It's fine. It's fine.
We don't have to worry about conflicts of interest because it's a private business. The only time I think that they might have to budge. And it's incredible that it's gotten to this point where what's left to keep the NFL honest is gambling. That's
very ironic.
If the sports books.
Is that ironic? Is that irony?
I think so. There is definitely some irony there for the people who thought that this was somehow sinful and people who still believe that you're luring vulnerable people into something that could ruin their lives. And I guess that always remains a possibility. And it's why there are legal warnings against it. But in truth, it may be the larger force that keeps the league honest. That if you're saying that the gamblers have to know that there isn't insider information that is being shared in one direction or another, or if we start to see weird things going on in the lines that affect the Dolphins, or people are responding to something Troy Aikman says during a game that you think could indicate something the Dolphins might do, that the only force that is really holding the NFL to try to be transparent would be the gambling interests.
Yeah, that's funny.
So we'll see how it ends up. I don't know that that's any sort of sustainable approach for running a league. Say, well, ultimately the gamblers will tell us if this is okay or not. And just the fact that it ends up that way doesn't mean they're choosing that as a business approach.
Yeah.
And say, well, someone will tell us if this is wrong or not. We're also looking at the upcoming votes on rules. There is one proposal to say that trades, the current trade restriction should allow teams to trade draft picks from a larger time window, like it gets with the NFL and NHL when you've got draft picks you can't even really think about and they're worth less because they're so far into the future, and they want to extend that window out to 5 years now.
Yeah, because it's currently 3 years.
I think it's 3, and they want that out to 5. There's some who felt that was an inevitability. And I guess the Rams are being petulant, that they wanted some rules put in after that 2-point play in Week 16. If you remember, where there was the 2-point conversion and they didn't realize that the play was still live, that it wasn't a forward pass, it was a backward pass, and it was actually Terry McAulay on Amazon Prime that mentioned, I think they ruled this thing wrong. It's not an incomplete pass. And then
he called the league office.
Well, Did he call the league office or did they?
I thought I remember the story correctly. He called the league office.
Yeah,
which is why it was a big red flag to me that you're a TV guy. What are you doing? How much influence is the broadcast having on the league officials as far as what they're doing within like real time in a game?
And I don't think they need a new rule. I just think they have to coach up their officials to let a play run a little longer in their judgment if there is a question as to whether or something is a forward pass or not.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think even if you know you're right, that's one you might want to let play out and tell your players if there's a ball on the ground, pick it up and do something with it.
Right.
Never let a ball sit there.
That's one of the oldest rules you teach kids. Ball on the ground, pick it up. Doesn't matter. Just don't let it lay there.
Ever. For whatever reason. Incomplete pass, end of a play, there should never be a ball lying on the ground.
Correct.
I'm no coach. You are, but what do you do? Make them do up downs or something if they?
No, we just scream and slap them. No, we just kind of reinforce it. Yeah. Oh, look at this. So I keep. Have I showed you this? My trophies over there.
Those are huge.
Those are my football trophies. Yeah, that's championship and then runner up.
What's the one that looks like the Lombardi Trophy?
That's our flag football championship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the guy running with the ball. But man, that's the blitz.
Oh, yeah, it's NFL blitz.
It's NFL blitz.
Yeah.
See, I voiced over blitz after they lost the NFL imprimatur.
That's right. I forgot you did that.
Yeah, I
totally forgot you did that.
I'm the play-by-play voice of rebel, like counterculture, disgusting, violent NFL blitz.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I totally forgot about that.
That's right. That's you fun. Talk about hard work.
Yeah.
Oh, that is tedious.
Just a repetitious, yeah. And all the different possibilities and scenarios, yeah.
And you're in a booth and you have to do every name. And you have to do every name like Johnson. You need all these different inflections of every name. And then every yard line. He's down at the 20. He's at the 20. And you have to do that for every yard line.
Oh, I bet that was a long day.
Yeah, but they had it down to us like the director knew exactly what to get. They knew exactly it's just tedious. And next thing you know, you come out of the booth, you don't realize you've been in there for 4 hours.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But that $3 million payoff was really worth it.
Yeah. I believe I got.
Oh, that's right, $4 million.
Union, I think I got a union scale, but it was walking distance from my house because the what used to be Midway Games is just on the other side of the river near me.
But what they didn't know is they could have paid you in fried chicken. Oh, you're going to pay me for this too? Yeah. They could have just said, here's a whole bucket of chicken.
We've got chicken.
Yes.
We've got chicken. Yeah, if they like Popeyes are like Old Browns, which I don't know if you can find anymore. Something happened to Browns.
Yeah, they got bad when they became Brown's Chicken and Pasta. Like, leave the pasta.
No, they got bad when they got sold. It was fine. Everything was fine. It was.
Leave the pasta.
They got sold to private equity, and then some things changed. I tried it. I took Jason for fried mushrooms in Bolingbrook when we were out there golfing, and I said, "Oh, Browns! You never had Browns." So we got a couple pieces in the fried mushrooms. He said, "It's
well,
good.
yeah, no, I get that because I mean, if you're talking it's shrimp, it's Indiana. If you're talking fried mushrooms, it's Bolingbrook.
Bolingbrook.
I mean, where else would you go for a fried mushroom?
Famous. It's not the
famous Bolingbrook mushroom.
It's not the best I've ever had. The best fried mushroom, the best breaded fried mushrooms I've ever had are at a gas station in rural Ohio. I could find it if I looked at a map. It would be like the movie Lion. I'd be like Dev Patel trying to triangulate everything. But
is that gas station in your dad's journal? His chicken journal?
They didn't do rural Ohio. This is on the drive to Denison University, and I stopped there once, and then I made a point of stopping there every time we drove because they had incredible fried chicken strips and fried mushrooms. Unbelievable.
You know, I love gas station food, so.
Yep, and these I think they were Palestinian, and they owned the place, and it was like it wasn't just like little gas station stuff. It happened to be a gas station, but it was just a great setup.
Well, I think I'm going to go get me some fried chicken for lunch here because I'm starving.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
After all the earlier conversations about food, I'm really hungry.
I know you are, but you're going on vacation. Are you
Yeah.
gonna get in your steps? Are you gonna get in your exercise, or are you letting yourself go completely?
On vacation?
Yeah, because there's probably a really good workout room.
No, I'm not exercising. I'm gonna let it. Whatever happens on vacation. The only thing I know I'm not doing is electronics. None of it.
You're not even gonna have your phone with you.
No, I'll have it for emergency purposes, but I'm leaving it in the room. Like it will not leave the room.
Good
the
for
entire time I'm there. Yeah.
Good for you. And I would take the kids'
can't
phones
wait.
too.
Oh yeah, no, we already told the kids that we're going to give them a really small window to be able to look at their phones, but there's too much to do. We're at the resort there's so many activities all day every day for things from pool volleyball and pool basketball and basketball shootout contests, and there's sports things all day long for them to do.
And I'm trying to think ages right now of all the boys that are going.
13, 11, 10.
You're getting close to having another issue.
Oh, meeting girls?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because some of my memories of those family trips to these resorts where there's a lot of poolside downtime, and when you leave the country, the drinking age goes out the window completely.
Well, yeah. Well, they're not drinking. They're 13, 11, and 10.
Just saying.
Oh, they're not drinking. That's not even. I
had
will
our
murder
moments.
a motherfucker.
We had our moments like, oh, they're over there and we're over here and this is all available.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure when you were in Mexico at 15, you were throwing down a bunch of beer and tequila. So
Mostly beer. I was a little frightened of, oh, you have tequila. What's tequila? Oh, he's like beer. Very well.
It's like beer. But it's not. Yeah.
3 tequilas then. You don't even know what I'm.
All right. Yeah, I'm starting my vacation. So.
All right. Well, you know what? Start it.
I am. No, I am.
Start it.
We're gonna leave. We're gonna wrap this up, and then I'm gonna go and get some car chicken and watch basketball.
All right. Well, you got to get this posted.
Oh yeah, and I'll do that first.
Okay, and then and then we've got a meeting later. You know.
Oh yeah, I'll be at that meeting too.
Okay, just making sure
with chicken.
You'll bring chicken to the meeting. You got to bring enough for everybody.
No, I'll be on video.
Very excited about this meeting because there are. Let me just say there are exciting things going on at 312 Sports that we can't tell you about yet. How about that? Mm-hmm.
We could, but we can't.
We could, but we don't want to because
We're
we're gonna save it because we're gonna know more about it after this meeting. Aha! There is your tease for what else might be coming, and I think we got you caught up on the Bears and the NFL, and we will wrap it. Wish Maddie a fun time away, and hope he doesn't injure himself challenging himself to physical activities. And trying to do something. You're not going to do anything ridiculous, right? You're not going on like any dumb safaris, or you're going to be eaten by monkeys or killer whales or anything, right?
No.
Okay.
They do killer whale safaris?
I don't know what they do where you're going. I've never been where you're going.
I'd take a whale. I would go
no,
head to head with a whale
watching.
on land.
Okay, because gravity affects them a little differently.
Yeah.
You come over here.
I would totally kick the shit out of any whale on land.
You come over. I'll get you.
Done deal.
That is Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears and NFL podcast on 312 Sports.
Forward progress has stopped. 10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.